And now the slaughter begins. 18,000 Benjamites died when they were encircled between Israel's two forces. That's over 70% of the men that they had put on the field in that day gone. The remainder of the Benjamite army breaks out of the encirclement and flees, quote, towards the wilderness onto the rock of Rimmon. More about the rock of Rimmon next week. And as they're fleeing towards the wilderness and this rock, 5,000 of them are slain. Verse 45 uses the colourful word gleaned. Israel gleaned the Benjamites in the highways. Gleaned is an agricultural word. When you're bringing in the harvest, first of all you reap. That takes care of the majority of the crop. And then after the reaping, comes the gleaning, where you pick up the bits that have been left behind. That's what Israel's doing. It's at the gleaning stage. 70% plus of them are already dead. Now we just glean. We pick up the remnants. We mop up, I suppose you'd say, in more modern military language. And with these 5,000 dead, now 90% of Benjamin's forces are eliminated. And then the remnant of the remainder of Benjamin, they flee to Gibeah, and another 2,000 are slain. So how many are dead now? Well, 18,000 plus 5,000 plus 2,000, 25,000. That's what verse 46 says, which tots them up. And verse 35 gives the number as 25,100, which is a more precise number than the other one, which rounded all the figures up to the nearest thousand. 25,100. And both those verses, 35 and 46, state that those numbers of people died that day. That day. Because, through a little bit of computation, we know, I can work out that 1,000 Benjamites must have been slain on the previous 2 days. So 25,100 on day 3, 1,000 on days 1 and 2, makes 26,100 dead, and 26,700 Benjamites started the battles, which means that there are just 600 men of the original army left. Just over 2%. 98% eliminated. These 600 men hide in the rock Rimmon. They become the focus of next week's sermon. And this is all very well, battles and people being killed and fleeing this way and the other one, and strategy and numbers and adding them all up. This is all very well, but the key question is, what do we make of all of this? What's going on here? What do you think a Philistine or an Amalekite observer would have thought of this if he'd been stationed around the city of Gibeah for the last 3 days, maybe a bit before? He would have said, well, there's been a row, there's a fallout in Israel, and he would call it civil war. Civil war. One group of Israelites fights against another group of Israelites. Civil war. Then he would probably remark upon the courage and ability of little Benjamin. It held out for 2 days and won the first 2 battles. But eventually the greater numbers told, and Benjamin was almost wiped out. At this, the Philistine or Amalekite would probably have been pleased. There's slaughter in Israel. They are our enemies. They're fighting among themselves. Thousands of them are dead. This is going to weaken our enemy. And in short, I guess, there would have been some jokes at this. This is good. This is funny. What do you hear what the Israelites are doing? They're attacking themselves now. We like this. In this, though, the Philistines would have been wrong for various reasons, but in general, proper church discipline, though necessarily resulting in an immediate loss of members, always strengthens the church spiritually. Always. And usually, and in time, also strengthens the church numerically. But the Philistines wouldn't have understood that. How would the Benjamites have evaluated it all? They would have said, given human nature, Israel is making a big deal out of nothing. Sure, there was one woman, one miserable woman who died in Gibeah, and she was a whore anyway. What does she have to complain about? She got what was coming her. And yeah, the men in Gibeah, they just got carried away. Sure, it's not that big a deal. Can't we just forget about it? If they said they're sorry, wouldn't that work? What does Scripture say? Then they would have said, and they did say, Gibeah, at the end of the day, is one of us. Gibeah is family. We're all Benjamites here. You've got to stick up for your family. And that is loyalty. You have to be loyal to your family. And so they made a virtue out of it. But this isn't loyalty. This is sin. And then they would have said, and doubtless they did say, these other 11 tribes, they have their faults too. Who do they think they are? Lots of sins among them. I know the sins that they're up to as well. These Reubenites and Zebulonites, they're not so great themselves. But that's not the issue. That's just an excuse. The same sort of excuse the children make. Why do you do this to me, Daddy? She's doing or he's doing the same thing as me. Then they would have said, they're using unnecessary force against us. They're coming against us with their armies. You'd think we were pagans. This is what Israel did to the Canaanites and the Amorites and so on. Now they're turning it on us. Who do they think they are? And who do they think we are? And when they bring such a large army against us and pitch their tents over in Mizpah, that's inflammatory. Why do they have to do that? And where's the love in all of this? That's the classic. That's the clincher. The Benjamites too may even, and doubtless they did, enjoy camaraderie. Camaraderie, their discipline had occasion, because we're all in it together. We've never enjoyed so much unity among ourselves as Benjamites, because we're all taking the field together. We're all going to stand or fall as one man. But that's more like honour among thieves. And it's a unity in sin and rebellion. Then moving along a little, after winning the first two battles, Benjamin thought he may escape church discipline. I've got away with it. In fact, God may well be, in fact I think He is, on my side. Because my army has won the last two battles and 40,000 of them are dead. Now we see who's in the right here. We Benjamites. But they misinterpreted what God was doing. Though they won the first two battles, their judgment was coming. God was chastising the 11 tribes with that. But their judgment was sure.